Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Cafe Gallery Radio Gallery Cabaret! Hello, hello, hello! Everybody's like, no, I want to be hanging out at the bar and have a hi! Everybody's like, I'm just going to hang out and be mellow and stuff. And I wanted to say, well, before I say anything about our phenomenal features, before I call it my first open micer, I wanted to say, I think years ago I did something about how I was starting a car accident. I learned that death seems to come in threes. And I looked at it and I said, well, there was Lauren Bacall, and there was Robin Williams, and then last Thursday, Joan Rivers.
Can we talk?
Yeah. Can we talk? You know, and after Robin Williams died, Joan Rivers actually talked about him. And she said, I've got the quote, he was an incredible actor. He also had a really formal upbringing. He was very well read, very knowledgeable about everything, about literature. Even to do Dead Poets Society, he knew what he was talking about when he was talking about the poetry. And John actually said to me that last Wednesday night, she did what she decided was going to be her final stand-up comedy show. She said, that's it. That was going to be the last show. And the next day, in surgery, she died. Which is really weird. It's kind of scary. She's like, that's the last one I'm going to do. But she didn't mean it that way. But I found this really funny. I think I've heard a news reporter say this from her most recent book, Diary of a Mad Diva. I believe it's in that one, because she writes a lot of books. She wrote about when she died. And she wrote this. When I die, and yes, Melissa, that day will come, and yes, Melissa, everything's in your name. I want my funeral to be a huge showbiz affair with lights, camera, action. I want craft services, I want paparazzi, and I want publicists making a scene. I want it to be Hollywood all the way. I don't want some rabbi rambling on. I want Meryl Streep crying in 5 different accents. I want to look gorgeous, better dead than I do alive. I want to be buried in a Valentino gown, and I want Bobby Winston to make me a toe tag. And I want wind machines blowing my hair, so that in my casket, my hair is even blowing, just like Beyonce's. Only Joan Rivers would actually have written that stuff. But I have to do something to give all the, you hear these stories and you have to give props. But because we've got 2 features, and I'm going to save one poem for introducing the features for Bob Lawrence and Bill Yarrow. Please give it up for you! They're actually going to be going back and forth, so I might do a poem to introduce the 2 of them. But because I know that one of them seems to like science-y stuff, and because in 2 days I happen to be featuring at Poetry Love Letter, at Let Them Eat Chocolate, and reading new periodic table poems, I figured, yay! As long as you'll be there, it'll make me happy. Awesome.
That's why he's going to be there.
Only to read. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be awesome. But for that, I thought I would pull up this one. This is actually number 5. In the periodic table, but it talks so much about astronomy. This is Boron from the Big Bang. The Higgs boson, the Higgs particle, the God particle, as some have called it. It's an elusive elemental particle theorized about for nearly half a century. They call it the God particle because it might have created all matter. You see, scientists are trying to figure out how the Big Bang started to evolve. You see, the theory is that all of the universe's energy was created from this one massive explosion from nothingness. But the question remains, how did any of that energy turn into matter? Because during the first few minutes of our universe after the Big Bang, the temperature was so hot that it was too hot for any binding energy that could have supported any matter, even hydrogen or its isotope deuterium. With temperature so hot, this bottleneck delayed the formation of anything until the universe was cool enough to make anything out of anything. But just a few minutes after the Big Bang, elements burst forth because the universe suddenly got cool enough. But at 20 minutes after the Big Bang, the universe was suddenly too cool for nuclear fusion and nuclear synthesis. And so that is when elemental abundances were nearly fixed. That means hydrogen, helium, and trace amounts of lithium, beryllium, and boron were the elements formed after the first 3 minutes of the Big Bang. Sorry, any elements starting at carbon or even higher, oxygen, anything. They were only formed after stars were actually around to create them. So the creation of matter out of energy during the formation of the universe only happened in an insanely brief period in the universe's history. Was it that the insanely hot temperatures did it, or this insanely short period pulled it off? I mean, is that all it was? And what does that have to do with the Higgs boson particle anyway? Well, scientists believe the Higgs particle is a part of the Higgs field, an invisible field of energy throughout the entire universe. That Higgs particle interacts with whatever energy passes through the Higgs field. And with this interaction, particles, massless particles, they trade some of their energy to gain mass when passing through. And this Higgs field, in the beginning of the universe, helped create matter, which helped create us. Higgs helped create matter, including the first elements in this universe, from hydrogen to the comparatively heavy boron. Yeah, 5 electrons is heavy in the formation of the universe. Yeah, boron, which helps keep our bones strong. Boron helps osteoarthritis. Boron builds muscles. And when it comes to trying to understand this science stuff, it even improves our thinking skills. We've known of boron for thousands of years, from the deserts of Tibet to China, used in glazes, throughout all the way over to Persia, before it actually got to Italy, before it was used for medical purposes. Well, knowing how long we've used borax for cleaning, or even that boron's used to make the strongest magnet ever made, it's nice to know that we also understand how much this infancy of the universe element is vital to everything in our lives, from our muscles and bones to the very creation of the universe. Yeah, it's cool to see how scientists are starting to piece together how matter came to be in this universe, because without that Higgs field and without that Higgs particle, energy would never have turned into elements like boron, or creates anything like even creates us. Thank you. I got that long one out of the way, please. I think we've got time. Let's give it up for, well, no, because I said before 1 for a round, but we could do 2 for people. So please give it up for Joffre Stewart. Come on, everybody.
Is it 1 or 2?
Well, it's early, so do 2. It's early, so let's do 2. Normally it's at 1. Let's do 2.
Hey, let's see what video. This first one I give the title, A Site-Specific Contextualization for the Week That Is. The epigraph is from Sherman Skolnick, who was reported murdered by Mossad 8 years ago. Report from anonymous source. New York City firemen, there were bombs in the building. Cyberspaceorbit.com. Crucial info evidence. Explosives toppled WTC. On an anarchist calendar, the second Thursday in the month that gave W.H. Auden reason to write September 1, 1939, at this 100th year for the start of that first great war for Israel, could be Condemn the Rothschilds Day. for bankstering both great wars for Israel, the latter one depleting morality with the uranium residues, carcinogenic in Iraq, Bosnia, grunts, and at Ground Zero, where mini nukes brought down Building 7 with 2 others after gold was safely restored in Building 5 for 9/11, as though 007 had frustrated a plot by Goldfinger. But on my calendar, from the National Children's Cancer Society, the day is dedicated to patriots, not the firemen who tell us there were bombs in the building and who were not invited to celebration for defamation of innocent Islamics, but for those like Larry Silverstein, who got over $7 billion for letting Moshe and Sutter truck in the mini nukes, exploded into cancer and other survival agonies, certainly affecting children one way or another. Victims of patriots and the patriotism signaled by the flag in the patio. The patio refers to weeds, and actually there was 2 flags. One was a Marine flag. That's another point.
You know, Joffre, when I was doing something, I was dressing up as a man, I'm like, I need a U.S. pin, and I knew a Marine. He's like, I've got a pin for you, and I've got a crisscross of Marine and U.S. flag pins to have for it. So I'll get the Marine one from you. That'll be great.
Well, the title here, Millennium Park as Derogation of Free Expression as the 36th Annual Chicago Jazz Fest. The epigraph would be the same as you've heard, but for a different perspective on the same. Sherman Skolnick goes to http://people.aol.com/people/special/0.11859, 174-592-3, 0.174-592-3, New York Fire Department's chief arson investigator said on TV on 9/12/2001 that internal explosives were used to bring down the WTC towers in 5 parts 1. Security is aggression against liberty, as we see with Homeland Security. Based on the hoax and fraud of 9/11, made for the Zionist wrecking of the Middle East, ever worsening with some current scripture memorizing thugs with no Navy, no Air Force, and no atomic bombs, unless Pentagon gives them one, as it has other heavy weapons, but threatening as it slaughters humanists and other infidels in their historic anti-crusade with jihadi Rome, going back when only Lo the Poor Indian had any consciousness of this continent. 2. Millennium Park Security, after calling cops to distance my peace leafleting, simultaneously anti-racism, from the park side of Michigan, and though learning 2013 they did not own the sidewalk, nevertheless persisted in bullying, cajoling, bullying, and mostly black on black, pressuring, hostile to maximum free expression for this 36th annual, even while blacks were hardly done demonstrating against the armored effect of Homeland Security in Ferguson, Missouri. 3. After 460 leaflets, I had time to sample cherry Pepsi, but yet preferred the pristine flavor that provided a blind behind which Richard Nixon, Don Kendall, Joan Crawford did their part in blowing away JFK. After big band sound on an old Lion stage where the jitterbug waltz didn't jitter enough, I kept my seat when Art Hoyle, a vet of the orchestra, brought on guitarists for the pro-slavery anthem composed by plantation owner Francis Scott Key in that Napoleonic War sideshow occurring after Bonaparte sold the Indians to a Jeffersonian Democrat in that pre-burnt White House. The sale necessary when property rebelled on Haiti, denying francs for overrunning Europe in Rothschild-ish strife to de-ghettoize Jews, enslave blacks, free the Jews, in the Illuminati ruling class scheme for New World Order, Novus Ordo Seclorum Anime Outstay. The couple to my left were also sitting when the guitarist interpolated a strain of "Lift every voice and sing" with cheers of recognition from audience. The couple were Quaker, with a religious faith against nationalism, but not necessarily comprehending my emphasis on Zionism against nuclear Zion, the most insidious form of nationalism, manipulating the patriotic authority system through control of White House and both houses of Zionist one-party system in the House of Rothschild. The Quakes were keen on the French-educated Cécile Sauvant, who sounded enough like Kurt Elling to remind one of him, but far more interesting. 4. With Sun Ra passed off into space, the place, the orchestra performed more spectacularly than at Petrillo Bandshell, and the fickle, finicky gods did not rain on their parade as we passed out of the park into uncertain space, the space in the cosmos most unfree, as reckoned by inmates on the counted where privatization makes locking you up a legal requirement for Wall Street profit. 5. At Northeast Corner, Randolph, Michigan, I gave to a woman with sign like, "I'm just hungry," a few carrots from a dip in carrot freebie from the cherry Pepsi flavor of the Von Freedom Pavilion.
Thank you, Joe. You know, I have to say something for Joffre.
I have to say something, and I always say that I'm going to do it. And yay, he said bombs in the building. There were bombs. I took just the phrase bombs in the building, bombs in the building, bombs in the building, and I'm going to be using it for reading a thing that talks about the United States and Soviet Russia. And bomb just as an intro thing in my feature, Dubnium, and if you can't make it, I might bring it in 2 weeks so you can hear my crazy little thing with your sampling for it. I keep saying I'm going to do it, so I finally did it. So that's for you. And now I have to give it up for Dan Weinberg. Dan, get out of my darling. Thank you.
Okay, this is a little shorter.
Surely not.
I just. All right. Dark Bar, the better to tell poems in. Dark bar, the sneaky way to tell a tale. Turn on some lights. Oi gewalt, now I can see. Light bar, lighten up your load. Turn on your love light. Light bar. Let the poetry begin. Thank you.
Oh, we just get one ribbon and I'm in your way, and thank you very much.
Oh, that was so funny. And for people who couldn't see, Tressa actually turned on the lights of the bar, light bar, which was very funny. It was great. It was perfect. I would say that I have, if you didn't see this, I've just released, I believe that's Elizabeth Marino, released collection books of issues of magazines. This is Down in the Dirt. This is The Beaten Path. Dun, dun, dun. And this is CC&D. It's a new pen, and it really is a crossword puzzle, although there's nothing to guess for.
Is my daddy home in there?
I think Father from You, I think, might be in this. I can't remember.
I think
Father! Hi, I just happened to turn, sorry, yelling like an idiot. Which is why I call this up, because we got a lot of great poets in the magazines, and if you ever want to send anything to me, go right on ahead. CCMD 96 Scars on TV now. Stop talking about me. I should be talking about Jenene Ravesloot. Give it up for
so. It's in there.
Jenene. Yes.
Oh yay!
Ta-da.
Yay.
New pen.
Okay. So, a couple of things. The Poets Club of Chicago has just put out its 78th anniversary anthology. It's called Skylines. We're very, very proud of it. Wayne Allen Jones, Pamela Miller, Donna Cusciani, moi, and Tom Roby IV were the editors. We're extremely proud of it. And Tom and I and Lem Roby have just put out On the Phonic, which has 15 poems on it with backing by Lem. He's really swell, and we are very proud of this. So, I am going to read from Skylines, and I'm going to start with Alone. Alone. Another summer rolls to its end. A cold wind blows across the sand. A shell slams shut, a faded door. There's nothing but an empty shore, so what's the use now? Why pretend? Love's a torn net you cannot mend, what's broken will not hold again. This you can't ignore. Another summer rolls to its end. And since there's nothing to defend, unfold your arms and gently bend to gather driftwood as before. Watch pairs of seagulls reel and soar above the roiling, seething strand. Another summer rolls to its end. That, by the way, was turned into a video poem through the Poetry Storehouse, which is this incredible venue online that I think everyone should check out. It's just amazing.
And we want to hear you get closer.
That would be good too, would it not?
Wow! Oh,
Whoa,
okay. It's like she's
okay.
in 3D.
Whoa. So the second one is Flash in 3 parts. The Irish cop would visit once a month for an hour. He'd ring the bell, climb 3 flights of stairs. Then he would simply sit and stare while she sat on the unmade bed in a long white satin slip that was cut on the bias, too. The whores raised their skirts and fanned their crotches to let you know they were hot, hot, hot. Even young women riding old bikes
were propositioned on Broadway at midnight. 3. She sat beside him. He wanted to show her some drawings of samurai warriors in various poses, some laughable, like the one who braced himself with one hand on the very page she was looking at, while her lover ran a languid finger down the small of her back. And the last one, Afterlife. 4 red circles on the wall-to-wall carpet in the master bedroom where a bureau used to be. A fake ficus along the chair rail in the hallway. Peeling wallpaper, peeling paint, damaged doors, more doors that lead to other rooms. When they are turned, glass doorknobs skin knuckles against the frame. A threadbare stair runner leads down to an empty hallway and an empty living room except for the dead possum that lies in the fireplace with a damaged doll. An open front door creaks on its hinges like a porch swing, while the usual birds sing in the usual fading light. Thank you.
He's taking a picture.
And thank
I'm just
you,
sitting in the background, really like an idiot.
and thank you for the latest book, too.
Oh, because you might want to buy that off me?
I
Well,
would
you
def-
just might want to buy that off
I
me.
would definitely like to buy that.
See?
You could be in a cool book. What?
Is he?
No. Ha ha ha.
Damn.
I like screwing people up like that. But no, you're not, Max, because we are in the number 4 spot of the evening. And historically, people like to say that's the spot of the asshole, thanks to Charlie Newman, the first host. But I'd like to turn around and say that that's a spot of the Mr. Awesome guy. So I always want to give spot number 4 to my darling man, my co-host for the evening. So please give it up for the Bobster himself, Mr. Bob Rashkow.
Thank you. I was gonna say we were going in reverse alphabetical order, but Joffre's last name starts with S, and Dan's start with W, so that already.
You pretty much order how you get it, but you're
We would
always.
have skipped over Tom too.
Cleanup, yeah.
This is called a good thought.
Right.
It snuck up on me the other day, dialing a phone number by mistake. I heard a long ago recorded voice, Todd, our call center king, reminding me, pearly, soaked and flowery as honey spread fine over a slice of cake, that I'd reached a line that no longer works. Please hang up and try again. Oh, Todd, I cried, I will. I'll try another number still, if it means I can reach you, live and well. Your gorgeous, dynamic voice drowning me in bliss. See, Todd had a good thought, which he translated into action, landed a more rewarding position with $1 trillion corporation. Dear Todd, who once taught me that bosses can be sweet, will I ever see you again? But I've got your number, and it's always 10. And this is Space Poem. I, a traveler of the night, the world I love to live in the sky, moon, stars twinkle round about an exclamation of laughter at midnight, the merriest kind of consumption by all this rapist and bestiality. Transported by a lunar module, solemnity takes charge. I enter a Kafkaesque universe of sublime resignation, where every stop reads Greenleaf. Passengers stare out at the darkness, oblivious. No, this isn't a dream. It's just matter. It's just feng shui appropriation. It's just after hours in a large, impersonal cityscape. Just things falling back into space. Thanks.
Thank you. I probably usually say this after Joffre usually, but in case some of you do not know, you think that the government is not watching you enough, and with the NSA, this is why I video record everything that you're doing right here. And we're going to be able to have open mics as well as features available as podcasts. If any of you say, oh my God, no, don't put me on that. All right, fine, I'll cut you out of it.
Be on it.
But you know, if you would like to be on it, you know, you're just, then don't say a damn word and we're all good. Or something. But I figured I should give the ample warning, blah, blah, blah. And yes, I talked about this book before. A new pen, which has stuff from bonus issues of CC&D, including Idols, which I really like this cover, and it was just John and I just taking a picture out at Lake Michigan with the beach, and it looked really cute. And almost a dork, but what happens to be with that photo that I'm looking at is stuff from Tom Roby, Stuff of Dreams, and I didn't want to mention that one, but he's also in Omniphonic, and this is really, I'm really looking forward to hearing this, so if you can bug them and harass them and buy copies, or I don't know what they're doing with it, so go get it, and then in the meantime, please give it up for Mr. Tom Roby. Woo!
I was going to ask if you wanted to have Stuff of Dreams be one of the ones that you wanted to read, but if you don't, if you've got a thing.
I can read stuff.
No, read that.
If you want to do that, you've got, and you can take that and,
Yeah.
and read it in that mic, and I heard you and such.
All right, I am honored that this is in a new pen, and that,
Yay!
yeah,
The book cover, by the way.
that's,
Very,
you
very,
know,
very.
it's a game of chess. No, it's
It's a crossword puzzle.
It's a
it's-
crossword puzzle.
It's a crossword puzzle? I thought it was a street map of New York City. Well, anyway, I am
That's what you got
in
the
here
first time I see it.
and
I
happy
think I'm
for
in
it.
there too, dear.
Okay, this is Father, okay, and the Stuff of Dreams. Right next to Father, her father, is my father. My God, what a concept.
Children, churches, and daddies, you pulled that all off. You were awesome.
Yeah, and you introduce them to one another before you put them side by side. Yeah, they're both gone to their reward. But here we are. I'll have to take off my glasses so I can read this. Stuff of Dreams. When we buried my stepdad, my father came from south and when we buried my stepdad, my family came from south and west to toss his ashes off the small wharf where he had let down his crab traps for the past decade. So I raised into Shakespeare's cloud-capped towers, but couldn't get the can open until my brother-in-law took a church key from his pocket and popped the lid so my sister, with a sweep of her arm, could arc a curtain of dust that hung in the air, then hit the surface to rise again before his ashes sank into the cool and dust vanished into thin air, but leaves me angry and ashamed as I read this to see how I left out my fright when those ashes failed to sink right away. Stuff of Dreams. Thank you.
So you
Now-
can explain this?
Yeah, well, this is just a new poem, and it's in the light. You want to come near the light. This is a what they call an ekphrastic poem. Ekphrastic. It's Greek. I don't know what it means.
How's it
Well, it's a poem about writing poetry.
But that would be about art.
Well, I've expanded the meaning.
Just read the poem.
And
Read the bloody poem.
read the poem. Okay. It's an imperfect crown of triolets by me and Jenene, and what it did, the first is a complete triolet. The next two stanzas, we move the lines around. This sonnet keeps its silence. It will not make a sound. The laughing bird overhead is all that I can hear. Where is the rhyming word that cannot be found? This sonnet keeps its silence. It will not make a sound. No part of speech will fit, whether adjective or noun, since all miss the meter, making meaning unclear. This sonnet keeps its silence. It will not make a sound. The laughing bird overhead is all that I can hear.
The laughing bird overhead is all that I can hear. This sonnet keeps its silence. It will not make a sound, since all miss the meter, making meaning unclear. The laughing bird overhead is all that I can hear. Where is the rhyming word that cannot be found? No part of speech will fit, whether adjective or noun. The laughing bird overhead is all that I can hear. This sonnet keeps its silence. It will not make a sound.
Where is the rhyming word that cannot be found?
All miss the meter, making meaning unclear.
The sonnet doesn't make a sound. It keeps its silence all around.
Where is the rhyming word that cannot be found?
The laughing bird is over here. I cannot hear.
This sonnet keeps its silence. It will not make a sound.
No word will fit, whether adjective or noun.
All miss the meter, making meaning unclear.
Imperfect. Thank you.
Look at it before I sell it to you. You get that book before I give it to you. This is my copy.
For at least a few minutes before you buy it off me. By the way, any of these books are available on sale directly from the printer or through Amazon.com.
I want to buy one of those.
Well, all right, you can take my proof copy off of me, and which means you're going to get the awesome one because it's going to say proof, because it's going to be the only one in its existence like that. Yeah, I love proof copies. That means they're treasured and.
Absolutely.
Well, none will ever exist like this. But why am I blah 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 books and stuff? Apparently, I like designing books. A new pen. Sorry. Anyway, oftentimes these collection books or issues of CCD or Down on the Dirt magazine get titles I look through and I say, what have people written in here? Does anybody have a good title? One of them happened to be a new pen, and I'm like, I've got a crossword puzzle! Yeah, I've got a typeface for it. The Beaten Path is the same way. So if you've got a really cool title, it might actually appear as a collection book like this or something. This is how I do it. If I don't have a grand idea for what a title is going to be, it's going to be somebody who's accepted writing. And I am now talking about things that don't relate to my books anymore because I'm done with that. CC&D, Down the Dirt, Scars Publications. But I have this purple bag here. Dun, 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 dun.
Is that dough?
Is that what?
It's going to be dough, isn't it? Yeah. Money.
Dough! It's going to be awesome. It's going to be filled with, because we've got two phenomenal features. I've got fives and I've got singles in this, and I want everybody, whatever money I have, put anything you can into this thing, because we've got two phenomenal features. Give it up one more time for both Bob Lawrence and Bill Yarrow. Oh, yeah! Give your life savings, if you can. I would say don't give change, but that could always be bus money or
John.
husband would be like, well, I've had change for the day, and like, I'll get like 3 pounds of quarters in my purse or something. So, I mean, if you've got whatever you want to give is awesome. But in the meantime, now I have to remember, I get to hear Lucia. This is exciting. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Lucia Blinn.
Hey, everybody. The country mouse demands equal time. It was Ted Turner who turned on the TV in airport lounges. Today, we are hostages to GS TV, gas station TV at the pump, and golf cart audio. The green silence of the course, where once was heard only a discouraging word or nice shot, is now polluted with audible iPods. Hence, this phrase stopped me in my increasingly blaring tracks. The simple beauty of rural living. A call from my ancestors, quiet farmers in the Polish countryside. Having scaled the heights and seen the sights, I long for the antidote to the cacophony of cars and concrete and digital marauders. I pine for the whispery majesty of trees, white clouds sailing a sky blue sky, a field of cows safely grazing, unbound for anyone's dinner, rustic serenity. It must be all those English mysteries. I dream of cups of tea beside a bowl of old-fashioned roses in a sitting room of a cottage in the country, an orange tabby and Emily D. for company. I awake to birdsong, tend my garden, attend the dance of the fireflies, and drift to sleep to the crickets' serenade. Absent the woes and worries of this raucous realm, I recall the secret of the sages through the ages. Live close to nature. Wondering. She is 6 feet of beauty, inky hair, ivory skin, mid-20s, thin burgundy shorts seemingly painted on her. Shorts, as in underwear shorts, assuming there is underwear, which there appears not to be. I wonder, does she and her ilk scan their milky white miles of varicose vein-free legs in the morning and think, yes? Do they give me a thought up here at the dizzying height of the actuarial table, popping extra strength Tylenol? Can they imagine the fast-forward version of their nubile youth, wherein issues trump insouciance? Can they picture the day a friend they laughed with leaves the stage? When you're not yet 30, can you count to 80? And finally, questions. Watching the unending ad for watches, I wonder, how many do you need to watch your life ticking by? Why do celebrities have orders from doctors when the rest of us have a doctor? When did it become okay for politicians to lie? Remember tennis whites? When did we start wearing fleece in June? When did rape become legitimate? Who pays $300,000 for a handbag? Is this the official end of civilization? Or is it suing the president? Cole Porter wrote, "Good's bad today and bad's good today." And I ask you, is it okay not to like kale?
But kale's supposed to be so good for you. And my mom used to make it and put it in mashed potatoes for my dad.
Yummy.
And it was always just so bitter tasting to me. But you know, kale is, and sometimes John had made it into something that was like, wow, that's really good. So, you know, I guess if you cook it the right way, you get the right thing.
With
So,
eggs, it's swell, really.
yay, Kale. Good for you stuff. Why am I talking about? Well, because she's awesome. And I know somebody else who's awesome. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jerry Pendergast.
Short guy height.
I'm the tall woman, I'm sorry.
This is something called Two Bob's Night. I tried to do this from memory at What to Me Chocolate. Yeah, I ended up posting it on the internet because I forgot one stanza. Because I grabbed the wrong poem. I've gone ahead and done my Statue of Liberty poem, but I had read it the previous, like 3 days before that on...
Where you hold it up and someone else reads it? Yeah.
I mean, at waiting for the bus. So, so I tried to do this from memory. Anyway, Two Bob's Night. Two Bobs, ranting, reminiscing, line breaks well timed. Memories become short plays. Could Bob Knight rant any better than Mr. Lawrence? I think of the Bob's roller coaster at Riverview Park. Not as steep or fast as the Fireball, but had more curves. With full heads of hair, did these Bobs dance to Bob Marley and the Wailers as young men? 2. A bobber sinks underwater. An angler sets the hook. A fish has been on the worm, or minnow. 3. The only missing ingredient is the Bobettes singing, I shot Mr. Lee. In a boyhood fantasy, I am part of a male chorus, giving them backup bass. Maybe each Bob will do a rant about a teacher he didn't like. There is no record producer here, no order to adjust for Top 40 radio. And as a nod to our other heavy hitter tonight, I brought several poems that are all under 25 lines. This is 12. It's and of course, it's kind of subtly political. View from underwater. Is the vision to the shore blurred by a weed bed, the speed of a motorboat, or a strong current? Some new specimen, or something dumped or spilled in the water to the eyes of a fish? Thank you.
Totally see that, like all of the lines you could see, but that was very cool. That's right. Thank you very much. And now I don't often get to hear this woman, so I'm so excited that Elizabeth Arena is going to come on up. Yay, yay, yay for me, or yay, yay, triple plus yay for you. Give it up for Elizabeth Marino. Woo!
Thank you. And Janet, remember, arsenic is organic. Just saying.
Did you know that Avram, who isn't here, who read at my feature, you weren't at my feature in June, a haiku that I said arsenic and syphilis. Arsenic used to be used to try to cure syphilis.
Yeah.
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 Which
Cure, kill.
There should be a lot of it around then.
we need more arsenic in the world. No, that's terrible. Go.
And if those of you who are dying to hear more of my poetry, I'll be at Tallgrass as a feature, Tallgrass Writers, Bourgeois Pig on the 23rd, which is a Tuesday night. And also, starting in October, Chicago Calling is starting up again. Artists from Chicago reach out and collaborate with artists from Indiana, India, wherever. I'll be hosting a reading at Cup and Spoon on the 9th, which is a Thursday night.
And I'll be collaborating with a poet by the name of Santak Bakara, who's in India. And we'll also be, we've got Beatrice Badiki and Gartler, Tumusa Kozi is coming. Just tons and tons of people, including a wonderful stand-up comic who will be there, Kate Cullen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So it's just like, and other people. Anyway, this one, the second poem appeared in La Blaga, which was a webzine, and it's the oldest Chicano blog in existence, and still in existence. And both of them are under consideration for an anthology, Muse of Peace, which will be coming out of India. Thank you. Litany for Peace. Pick up a rock, set it down. Pick up a rock, set it down. Backs bowed, eyes to ground, set it down. Eyes to ground become embers, inflame the underbrush, set it down. Lit underbrush, hot brush, cracks open forests, set it down. Across the fields, we can only watch. We each have a right to exist. We live our lives on cold streets, crave homes of our own. No school, no hospital, no ministry of justice is impervious to flame. Set it down, set it down, set it down now. Litany for Peace. This is the one that was in Poets Responding to SB 1040 first, and then La Blaga. Asylum. Another sleepless night, and bad television is still not calming. My mind has drifted back to Charlie and his blue plastic boat, shared at St. Vincent's Orphan Asylum in Chicago. His hair was wondrously full, and he made my belly laugh as we waited and drifted. The dormitory cribs were far different from the blue vinyl mats on the concrete floor of the woman's wing of the shelter. Each places of shelter and transit an end time at any time. And I see these pictures of children stacked up like cordwood, relatively safe compared to the Pakistani children stacked up like cordwood in ox carts after a drone attack. It is difficult to shut off these images from the screen of the mind's eye. The browser sticks and keeps refreshing itself. In the morning, I must go out the door and decide to be alive. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Awesome on a stick, as I often say. People are like, what the hell is that? I have no idea. Sorry. Everything's on a stick. I don't know. And I don't know why I brought these up, other than this is my only copy left of my collection books that I happen to have in my proof copies. And every once in a while, people send checkbook submissions to me, and they end up becoming perfect bound books that would be released through Amazon.com and the like, and this is one of the most recent ones. The Girl Next Door and Other Poems. And he said, why is the cover so light? Because the painting, this is actually his painting on it. And I said, well, you can't read any type if you put that on there, so I had to lighten it up for the front for you. Why am I telling you this? Because even when people will have their own artwork on the cover, blah, blah, blah. Before I call up what I believe is my final open micer, Paul Ryan, I wanted to say, she mentioned Chicago Calling. I always am doing things like this, and I never organize it with them. I never say, oh, hey, Dan, hey, I've got an event coming up. Some of you might know the Howman of South Africa, Francois Leroux, is actually going to be coming into Chicago, and he has 2 nights, but one of the nights is going to be here the day before our usual October show. I believe it's October 9th or 10th. You'd have to look at the schedule because I don't happen to have it handy. It's the 9th or the 10th. Well, I don't know what day it is, but it's a Tuesday night.
Oh, then it's 7th.
That is the 7th, and then the open mic is for us with the 8th the next day. I don't know what the days are the first week in October. But you can always look at www.canagarts.org/thecafe. And he is doing a show. But he's got UK with him, and they're going to do all their awesome stuff because they're really, really cool. And he's got the big cello, and it's freaking amazing. But he is very interested in interactive stuff as well. I've already said I've got a little something that would be like this 10-line thing, and then I'm just going to go off on some extemporaneous rant with it or something that I will be working with him. And anybody is welcome to do the same on a Tuesday night. That is in the beginning of October, and that's all that I'm going to say about this awesome performance from the Hot Man of South Africa. And now I'm going to give it up, please, for, I can't even see because it's starting to get bright here, but Paul Ryan, are you around, my darling? Come on up and hello!
Litany for Pieces is a good song, but it has to be much longer. You can't just solve it quickly.
Oh.
You must make it longer. It's pretty good. I have a daughter who's in 8th grade, and I watch her volleyball games. And I decided to just write notes of the volleyball games. This is one. Illinois State Atomic Test. Accreta, system on system. From within the atomic blastome, once called a chain reaction, then something to be dreaded, but actually happening. Multiple blastings, wave on wave on wave on wave, wave and visibloom. Bloom and bloom, everything multiplying everything. Everything to every soul ashore. Everything atomized, blasted to sands, wave on wave. Wave on wave, atomic children, wave and wave. Crow dancer, ho-ho. Crow's wings so big, Crow can carry the night's baby she stole. Something blacker than Crow. The night's baby carried through the sky by Crow. And the night is naturally upset. Who stole my baby, she cries. Who stole my child? The night rages under the blanket of noon. Who stole my baby? Who stole my child? Crow dancer, ho-ho. These crow wings flap so, it's one crow or another, under whose wings is carried an airplane's child. A silver airplane child. The crow sings and an airplane mother cries out, who stole my baby? Who stole my child? The airplane rages on the legs of the afternoon. Crow dancer, ho-ho. Crow is silver and silver is crow. Crow dancer, ho-ho. It's sad to see the warm weather go. Stay colored, the color of the others. Stay that color. Push out what's in you, what you can. Say 5 things are from you. Send 5 and 5 and 5. Say the same color. 5 and 5 and 5. From what so far the sky has gathered from you, this day's color. And when you have no more to be bundled as 5 and flower, and what color you choose, say white, a white spray. And what number, a blue spray. And what color, a yellow flower with 7 petals, a blue flower with 6 petals, a white flower with 5 petals. You crust this way in the summer.
It's so triple plus awesome when we get such groovy people up here reading such awesome stuff. You guys are the best. The double plus best. I think we have a little time for a 5-minute break or something before we call up 2 phenomenal features from Bob Lawrence and